Welcome to stage 16 of the Tour de France. We're heading into Andorra and finishing at the ski resort of Arcalus, the top of a Category 1 climb. There's 6 riders still in contention for the stage win. The lone leader is Nicholas Vollenveder, and there's a chase group of 5 riders who we recently attacked here. So this chase group leads the peloton by around 6 minutes, but the peloton has been chasing hard for most of the stage. Kyoto Valnor doing most of the work, and Euskaltel Euskadi recently started chipping in. Wilmer Rodriguez seen doing some chasing at the bottom of the Port d'Onvillera. We're officially starting the Port d'Onvillera climb right now, but the false flat and uphill section started around 12 kilometers ago. This is a very long climb, and this is a mountain pass that leads from France into Andorra. There's actually a border control station near the top of this climb, and that's where the race is going now. You see this peloton has already been reduced greatly, just 30 riders are still here. The yellow jersey sitting comfortably, he's got some teammates up here, and the Euskaltel Euskadi trio of Rodriguez, Rudiger, and Caillou are all in this group. And this is a bit early for Wilmer Rodriguez to come to the front of the field, but it seems Euskaltel have a plan to go on the attack. Toutant is the race leader by 7 seconds ahead of Rudiger and 17 seconds ahead of Caillou. There's 3 mountain stages and a long time trial remaining, so Euskaltel feel they have to go on the offensive. They need to gain some time on Hippolyte Toutant. Rodriguez is peeled off, and that means Rico Rudiger, with over 60 kilometers to ride, has come to the front of the race. So this is to put the rest of the field under pressure and set things up for Jean-Marie Caillou. I thought Euskaltel would wait until the final climb and try and show their class similar to stage 9 to Rasul. It seems they might have other plans. And look at this move by Jean-Marie Caillou. This is very unexpected, but he's launched a big attack on the Onvillera. But we're so far from the finish, a brash move by the French climber. Out of character for Caillou to try a long-range attack like this, but I don't think he's going to press the advantage. He opened up a gap with Carlos Nello and then sat up, so I wonder what the motive behind that move was. Maybe just testing the legs of all of his big rivals. But he has certainly laid down the gauntlet on this stage. Euskaltel are here to do battle. In Kyoto, they're not going to attack at all, they will just defend and defend. They have Lida, Callas, and Toutant all together. And Lida and Callas, they're going to do as much as they can to stay with Hippolyte Toutant and keep him as close as possible to Jean-Marie Caillou. Still over 8 kilometers to climb to the top of the Onvillera, a little more than that for the peloton. It seems Nicholas Vollenveder has extended his gap over the chase group. So he leads them by 1 minute and 13 seconds, but overall the gap has really come down to these breakaways. It was 6 minutes at the bottom of the climb, now it's 1 minute 45 to that chase group, and around 3 minutes up to Vollenveder. The peloton not playing around on this stage, just 24 riders still here. Caillou asserting himself at the front of the peloton. And this must be intimidating to see the orange team so confident in their team leader on a big mountain stage like this. And I wonder what AlphaTauri has planned if Luis Sancho and Yevgeny Volashkov are safely in this group. They have not done any attacking on the stage. That was Jeff Cooper, the teammate who went up in the breakaway. I think he's in that chase group, just 2 minutes up the road. But we'll see what Sancho and Volashkov have planned, because they need to try and attack, try and go and get a stage win. The Tour de France is not going as planned for that team. And these are the mountains to try and turn things around. 5Ks to go until the summit. Duomo still have numbers, they got 3 riders, though Canale is struggling to hang on here. Manuel Navarro in good position, Chungling Shin is in this group, Carlos Nello. And a Sismic rider, I think that's Lars Evensen, who's had a very good Tour de France. Just trying to hang on for dear life here. But it seems the pace has slowed in this group. A few riders still dropping off one by one. Kelvin Moore of Natalia also here, Rodolfo Lucci, the leader of the King of the Mountains. I actually think Lucci has lost his virtual lead in that jersey on the Porte de Pelear. I forgot which rider scored the points. I think it's Jeff Cooper actually. We'll see the virtual standings at the top of this climb. I think Jeff Cooper should be the new leader in the Kingdom Mountains if the race were to finish here right now. We're nearly to the top of the Onvolira. VeloTour still soloing up the climb, so he'll score 5 additional points. A bit rude by the organizers to make this a Category 2 climb because it's so long. It's not incredibly steep, but it's been ridden very hard by the main field. Really should have been a Category 1. So 5 points scored by VeloTour. Farouk Manesh will lead over the chase group. I think Jeff Cooper's just been tailed off there. You see in the top right the best climber classification. Cooper now the leader by single point ahead of Rodolfo Lucci. We've got a short descent of the Porte d'Onvolira, and then we'll start the Col d'Ordino, 5.6 kilometer climb, averaging 7.5% gradient. Once we go up and over that, another descent. Then we have the false flat for around 10 kilometers, and then we start the climb to Archelaus, which is a pretty rude conclusion to an extremely hard stage. VeloTour just doing his best to ride at threshold and to see what he can get out of the stage, because I don't think he's going to win it, but he can score some points for that mountain jersey. And it seems like he's gaining back on the peloton a little bit. His gap was at 3 minutes, it's getting close to 4 minutes now. Then you get a chance to see the other riders in that chase group. I think Dennis and Sincamana of Castelli is among them. This is Mario Mazziotto leading the peloton down the mountain. The next group behind this main field is close to 2 minutes behind, so they might get back on. Things slow down on the descent. But really, these 17 riders, the big protagonist of the Tour de France. So it seems VeloTour nearing the bottom of this descent here. The chase group not giving up, they've almost got him back. I think they should get him back here, unless they slow on the climb. So the Jubilar duo of Farouk Manesh, it's either Skopko or Stephenson, probably Skopko, trying to work their way back up to VeloTour, but the young Austrian, not going to make it easy for them, the youngest rider in the VeloTour, and he's really impressed on some of these mountain stages from the breakaways. So he definitely has a bright future, especially in subsequent seasons. See what kind of improvement he can make into year 2. And for some of the riders on lesser teams, or those who are not fighting for points at the end of this VeloTour, maybe they have their eyes already on the next season. A new opportunity to improve, some new races, some new teams, a new chance to show what you can really do in the bike race. But we'll save that speculation for another time. Still a huge climactic stage of the Tour de France. There's peloton approaching that first chase group, so they'll be brought back by Wilmer Rodriguez. And Rodriguez setting a hard pace here on the Col d'Ordino. Hackett 2 is coming up to help. That's either Mazziotto or Sergei Ignatiev. Ignatiev, quality domestique for Manuel Navarro. But this is all to put Hippolyte Toutain and his Kyoto teammates under pressure, but so far it hasn't really happened like that, and look at this, Kelvin Moore is struggling at the back of this group. Well, Moore was dominant in the Alpine stages, he won 2 of them, stage 7 and stage 10, but now he's suffering in the Pyrenees. And this is a great attack by Yevgeny Balashkov, right over the top of the climb. Just you want to catch them napping with a move like this. Ignatiev is gone, the peloton really starting to fracture. Just a dozen riders still here, VeloTour's been caught. So has the move by Balashkov, but at last AlphaTauri choosing to get aggressive in the Tour de France. Still 25 kilometers to ride in the descent. Neutralized, nobody wants to try anything too crazy. Toutain here, just getting some bottles for his team, Caillou as well. 15 riders should start the climb to Archelaus together. And these are the finest climbers in this Tour de France. I don't see the polka dot jersey of Rodolfo Lucci, so he was dropped on the Col d'Ordino. He didn't look so good on the Porte d'Onvolira, so a bad day for Rodolfo Lucci, and this is a bad day to have a bad day. This long, interminable false flat up to the final climb should not be underestimated. If you're already tired or already behind, you're going to lose minutes. But of course, the final climb itself, very, very hard. So this is going to be down to a battle of endurance. No big moves have gone away before the final climb to Archelaus. just a matter of who has the stamina to finish the job. So we start this false flat up to Archelaus, just around a 3 or 4% road. It'll go like this for around 6 kilometers, and then we'll climb around 10 Ks, averaging 7% up to the finish. Some of the chasers have got back on, that's Skopko and Farokmanesh from the early breakaway, and the group of Rodolfo Lucci close to 3 minutes behind. Here's the polka dot jersey here. He's going to lose that jersey today, and he's not in contention to win the stage. And he was 12th on GC, he won't be anymore. But let's not forget, Lucci has won 2 stages in this Tour de France. This race a resounding success for the Italian and for the rest of his Natalia team. So sometimes you have bad days in the Tour de France, but he's not here to win the yellow jersey, he's here to win stages and to help Kelvin Moore. Meanwhile, Wilmer Rodriguez back at the front of the main field. He's done a lot of work today on the Old Valera and the Col Giordino, and now he's going to take this field all the way to the bottom of Archelaus. This is truly a great Tour de France for Wilmer Rodriguez. It's been incredible as a domestique for Caillou and Rudiger, really the unsung hero of that team. But he'll turn over the pacemaking for now to Sergei Ignatiev. We start the climb to Archelaus, 10.5 kilometers, 7.3% gradient. It'll twist and turn all the way to the finish, and this climb was made famous in 1997 when a 23-year-old Jan Ullrich dominated Richard Verrunk and Marco Pantani on this climb. He won the stage, he took the yellow jersey, and he won the Tour de France by almost 10 minutes. And incredibly, that was the only Tour de France victory for Jan Ullrich since Lance Armstrong came around a couple years later. Back to the race, Manuel Navarro launching the first attack with Ileana Pavlova and Chongling Shin, and he's going to keep going. Pavlova can't keep up, neither can Ling Shin for now at least. They'll set tempo. We haven't seen too many attacks by Navarro in the Tour de France. He's nothing like he was in the Giro d'Italia, but better late than never for the Spanish climber. He's only got a small gap though. Rico Rudiger is working hard to bring this back, and a number of riders have already been dropped. Eventon is gone. Lida, Callas, Kelvin Moore has been dropped. So Kelvin Moore is going to lose some time on GC, who was 4th entering the stage. Still a fair way to the finish. So this is a big blow to Natalia's GC hopes on this stage. But the race goes on in the fight for the yellow jersey. Navarro has been brought back by Rico Rudiger. He'll continue to set the pace. Caillou just following in the wheels. That's Ileana Pavlova just in front of him. Sancho is still here but looking tired. Balashkov on the back of this group. Pavlova starting tired as well, and Navarro's going to try again. He's got Jean-Marie Caillou on his wheel. Mello chasing from the main peloton. Lingshin towing after him too, and Tuta. He can't accelerate out of the saddle, he's just going to try and ride tempo. He's got Rudiger and Balashkov with him. But Jean-Marie Caillou once again dominating a mountaintop finish. He's got Navarro just in his wheel here, and this looks like the 2 strongest climbers on the stage. 2 kilometers to ride. We twist and turn, it goes all the way up to the ski resort. An interminable climb, but Tutan does not have the legs to raise the pace. Well, we only had a lead of a few seconds on Jean-Marie Caillou entering the stage, and just as he did on Rissoul, Caillou is going to ride away from all the other riders of the VeloTour. He will reclaim the race lead. He's going to gain significant time over all of his big rivals. Navarro almost had the measure of him today, but Caillou once again is too strong on the mountaintop finish. Chapeau to Caillou, it's the finest stage race rider in the VeloTour, and once again, the victory on top of a big mountain. Navarro has to come through for 2nd place once again. Carlos Nello in 3rd. Here comes Lingshin about 1 minute back. Balashkov a decent 5th place in a minute and a half, but Hippolyte Tutin has lost around a minute and 50 seconds to Caillou. Rudiger around 2 minutes. So Rudiger should stay up there on GC despite all the work he did today. Here comes Sancho and Pavlova. And look at these time gaps, this is 2 minutes 45 seconds. The group of Kelvin Moore, the leader of Natalia, has really suffered on this stage. It's a bad day to have a bad day. Great in the Alps, not so great in the Pyrenees, but he has a few more stages to try to gain back some time. So he's lost over 5 minutes to Caillou today. Wilmer Rodriguez 11th place. But he was one of the riders of the day, completely peerless as a domestique. He worked so hard on all the big mountains, gets home in 11th place. So the riders will continue to finish, and judging by the elimination time, which is over an hour behind the winner, nobody should get eliminated on this stage. And in fact, no one's been eliminated in the Tour de France so far. It's a welcome sign. It's always good to see riders finish the race. For stage results for stage 16 are as follows. Jean-Marie Caillou of Euskaltel Euskadi gets another mountaintop finish stage win, 26 seconds faster than Manuel Navarro of Hackett. Carlos Nello 3rd place in the same time. 4th was Chungling Shin of Valnor at 1 minute, then Yevgeny Balashkov of AlphaTauri at 1 minute 33 seconds. Tuton was 6th at 1 minute 48, then Rudiger at 2 minutes 7 seconds. Moore lost over 5 minutes, Lida lost close to 5.5 minutes. In 20th place, finished over 10 minutes behind the stage winner. So the race completely blown to pieces on the last 2 climbs of the day, the time gaps much larger than they were when we started the day. The new general classification has turned upside down. Jean-Marie Caillou has opened up a decent lead over Hippolyte Toutain by 1 minute and 41 seconds. Rudiger is now 3rd at 2 minutes 7 seconds. Navarro is now 4th, he's gone up a couple of places. Ling Shin is 5th, Kelvin Moore is down to 6th place, Balashkov up to 7th. You see in 10th place, Luis Sancho 11 minutes back. This is what happens late in the Tour de France as time gaps really start to go out. In the green jersey points competition, Miroslav Kostra is the leader, no points today scored by the sprinters. And in the King of the Mountains classification, Jean-Marie Caillou is the new leader. He scored points on these mountaintop finishes, they're worth more than the other mountains, and for that he's now the leader for that polka dot jersey. Euskaltel Euskadi extending in the team classification, they had 3 of the first 11 riders across the line, so they lead Kyoto by around 15 minutes. Another day of Euskaltel Euskadi domination. We'll have another mountain stage tomorrow, a short stage, around only 120 Ks, but 3 climbs and a fast descent into Bagnères de Luchon. Could be a good opportunity for the breakaway to try and get a stage win. The breakaways, not so successful in the Tour de France so far. We pretty much had that one win by Rodolfo Lucci. So we'll see what happens tomorrow on day 2 in the Pyrenees. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time for stage 17.